Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Google Cloud Global Digital Conference, Let's Talk AI. And what a great way to kick off this conference with some talks from Diane Green and a conversation with Andrew Moore, and also from Rajan Sheth. But let's bring it a little bit more local. So with me, I have
Renata, and I'm currently the Technical Product Manager in Business Intelligence team at Go-Jek.
Great. So thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And it's really good to hear from an organization that, number one, I guess, has grown so quickly and has probably experienced a lot of the issues that other organizations are having today. So why don't you give us a little bit of a background on who Go-Jek is for those people that don't know?
Okay. So Go-Jek is a technology company based in Jakarta, Indonesia, and we specialize in transportation services, logistics, and payment. But it's not only about that. We're actually Indonesia's first unicorn, and also we provide more than 20 services, including Go Glam, where we arrange hairstylists to come to your place and make you feel fabulous. And also we have Go Clean, which is a professional cleaning service that can help you clean your house. It's a very wide range of services that we provide to users. That's why we call it a super app. And also, we're actually right now the largest food delivery service in the world outside of China.
Yeah, I mean, Indonesia has a huge population, and I'm sure you guys have a lot of data. But you guys have also sort of, you started very small, and you've grown to where you are now. How have you thought about data differently, I guess, from where you started to where you are now?
I think comparing ourselves right today and 3 years ago, the major two differences is the way we see our data scale, and the second one is the number of use cases that can actually be used using data. So before 3 years ago, I think we have this what we call as data mart, and it's just a simple Postgres, and all of these services, growing services, just got extracted every day to this database, and it just doesn't scale. It takes a long time to query. Some query takes hours just for a single query, and it slows down the business. And as you know, as startup, speed is number one. So we should move on to other alternative, which leads us to move our data warehouse to BigQuery, and it's literally a lifesaver for a data team like us. The number of use cases that can actually be done with data keep on increasing to become limitless depending on who want to work on it.
Right, and what kind of sources and volumes are we talking about?
So right now we are processing more than 3 million transactions per day, and it's about 4 to 5 terabytes per day.
Wow. And that's one of the things that we hear a lot about from customers. Number one, it's the value of data decreases the staler it is, so they want to sort of be able to process this data quickly in real time to maintain freshness. So,
Sure.
I mean, how do you think about that when you're thinking about data?
Sure. So in terms of real-time data, I think it's the same struggle like other company. It's a new tech stack. It's a new learning curve for a data team like us. So I think the first one is for us, we find it really hard to find the right tool to provide our use cases, real-time use cases. The second part is also making sure, even if we know what tool we're going to use, it's still a very new, it's a new tool, so making sure that everyone in the team can be able to adapt to it as well. So I think on the first one, we did a lot of POCs on several streaming tools like Spark, Fling, and also Beam. And I think for our use cases, especially as we need to combine the batch and streaming pipeline, I think Beam makes sense for us. And for the second part, in terms of adoption, I think we're really fortunate that we have Google Cloud team to actually partner and actually help us to get on board on those tools. Yeah.
Great. So I guess one of the other things we were talking about is the governance structure that you guys are putting in place. As you said, you guys started small and you've organized over time. But what sort of governance policies are you putting in place as you move forward?
Okay. So governance in place, right now so when you talk about governments is very wide-ranging, right?
Yeah.
You could talk about data security, which is part of governance as well. You can talk about data modeling as well, which is part of governance. So for data security, we're partnering closely with our legal team to make sure that all of the data security is compliant to the highest standard. On the data model, we continuously trying to learn on how our user use our data to be able to make sure that we provide new data modeling that suits their use cases, especially for user like data scientists as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really key, right? If you're establishing this sort of a data platform,
Correct.
it's important to understand how those data scientists are going to use that data.
Correct.
And we talked earlier about, I guess, off camera around things like trustworthiness and how they can trust that data as well.
Correct.
So I guess looking forward, you guys have had massive growth. As you continue to expand both the growth in Indonesia and outside of Indonesia,
Correct.
how are you starting to look at that planning for that moving forward?
Correct. I think the number one is to build trust on our data, right? Which comes to data quality. Right now, we already implement what the team built, which is really cool. It's called a data quality service, which basically check every time a job is run and whether it meets the threshold. And if it doesn't meet the threshold, we will fail those jobs, right? But we still think there's further product features that come down the road to make sure that this data quality service is more self-serve. So the second one is self-serve. So right now, all of this transformation that being done is made by our engineer. So if you can't code, basically you can't make an ETL job. So it's in our roadmap to make sure that we have a very easy, user-friendly transformation tool. So people who can't code can build ETL jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, great. And I love that whole approach, right? Because essentially that means your teams can focus where their value add is.
Correct.
So what sort of advice would you give to organizations that might be struggling with the same things that your organization struggled with in the past? How do you get started? How do you actually take a step forward?
I think just like any product development, start small, start with what you have. It depends on the use case. But if you are one of the organization like us where you need to manage and maintain a lot of data, and speed is really one of the critical thing for your company to survive. I do think moving to Google Cloud Platform, especially for us, like our migration to BigQuery really makes it different. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm not sure how many people are watching from Indonesia, but if I hope that you were able to make it to our summit that we just had about a month ago, because Go-Jek was on stage and Crystal Wijaya showed a demonstration of some of the technology that they were using. Essentially, they gave out coupons and they were able to track people as they came into the summit and show that on stage in near real time. It's pretty amazing. So a treat for you is if you stick around after the sessions, Renata will come back along with one of the engineers, Fadli, who will talk about how they actually built that, the architecture that they use, and how they were able to deliver that fantastic stage demo so quickly. So thank you so much, Renata, for joining us here. And we'll see you again after the sessions.
Yes.
So for those of you who've joined us, please forward the invitations that you have to anybody that you feel might be interested. It's not too late to register. The sessions will be starting shortly. Please wait till after the sessions as well, again, to join Renata and Fadli as they talk you through that architecture. So some of the things that they were talking about that helps them deliver in their businesses and that can help you deliver in your businesses as well. So hold on just a moment and we'll kick off the tracks as soon as we get back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. And a fantastic session there with Renata and Q&A talking about how Go-Jek delivers their services. It's pretty cool because they have experienced such massive growth, and I thank them very much for participating in this with us, which is a live global digital conference.
Yeah, awesome. And we've just found out that we have 33,000 registrations in APAC, which is very exciting, who will be viewing today. And of course, they got to see that great story about Go-Jek. Aside from Go-Jek, you would have just seen our CEO, Diane Green, and David Moore as... Andrew Moore, in the presentation that they did, an exclusive event last week in San Francisco.
Yeah, and you also heard from Rajan Sheth talking about how you can actually apply AI in your organization. So how do you get started with AI, what you should be looking at, what sorts of projects are the right fit for things like AI as well?
Yeah, Rajan talked about a few really interesting things. I think the first one that he talked about that I really enjoyed was the conversation around Kubeflow. So when we produce models, that's obviously one thing to actually come up with the algorithms, but a second thing is obviously to be able to run those models on different machines. And Kubeflow was a really interesting discussion on how we can actually make those models portable across different clouds and then of course on-premise as well. So I found that really interesting, the discussion around Kubeflow. The second thing he talked about was our AI hub. So this is actually in alpha at the moment, and he gave us a really great demo of what this is. And again, you know, producing models is just one thing, but actually enabling the organization, your entire organization, to be able to go to a single platform and actually see those models that other people in the organization has produced, and then to be able to reuse those with your own data, I think is an amazing tool for developers.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's almost like AI discovery inside of your organization.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Really
if you're just joining us, if you haven't seen us before, if you just joined during the keynotes, my name's Jay Jenkins. I'm a customer engineering manager based here in Singapore.
And my name is Natalie Puco, and I'm also a customer engineer based in Sydney.
Right, and we're actually coming to you live from Singapore. And we have a fantastic bunch of tracks for you and a fantastic bunch of sessions. So 12 different sessions.
We do.
Covering 3 separate tracks.
That's right. We've got experts standing live to answer your questions. Of course, those 3 tracks are also live as well, covering 3 different topics. The first one is data and analytics, which is, if you're new to machine learning and AI, this is the perfect place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're not good at data analytics, you're not going to be good at AI. So how do you get your data prepared for the future of AI and machine learning?
That's right. And then the second track is all around AI. So of course, with machine learning and data, we produce a lot of information, and oftentimes we can produce models right to the edge of our networks or our devices. So this track really talks around IoT and what we're doing in that space.
Right, and then the third one is around applied AI. So we've got the IoT space, we've got the data space covered, and then applied AI is about actually building those models. So once you've got your data prepared, you need to build those models. Then once you build those models, you can then push those to things like your analyzing your IoT telemetry data or pushing it out to the edge.
Yes. I'm particularly excited about that session actually, because myself and a partner from Australia, Servian, his name's Andy Huang, and he'll be joining us in that track to talk about a specific Australian use case from Australian Super, in which we work together, the customer, partner and Google, to build a AI chatbot platform to increase customer service. So looking forward to that track.
Great, looking forward to that as well. Before we break out into those 3 separate tracks, just a note on navigation.
Yes.
So you'll see a few buttons here to the side. The first one, that agenda button, will let you know what sessions are playing and which track you can join. Right? So you can actually flip back and forth in between the sessions in order to make sure that you're in the session that you need to be in. Also, there's that Q&A button. So please, during the sessions, ask questions. Natalie already mentioned that we have live experts standing by, ready to assist. So they'll type up the answers as fast as they can. I'm actually doing a session as well. After a session, I'll hop into the Q&A to try to answer as many questions as I can as well.
Of course, and there's feedback. Of course, we'd love to hear what you think about our sessions so that we can prepare for our next digital conference. Tell us what you liked, tell us what you didn't like. And yeah, we look forward to joining you right back here after our next 3 sessions. So take a look and enjoy the upcoming content.
Great. Thank you very much.